Hello, you are watching the SDG Lead Talks, which is a series of conversations with prominent SDGs changemakers worldwide. Today, I am happy to talk with the chef Elijah Amoo Addo from Ghana, who is the founder of an amazing organization, Food for All Africa. Thank you so much for finding time and joining.
Thank you very much, Karina. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Today, in particular, we will discuss the goal number 2, which is zero hunger, how to reach it, and what is the role of food redistribution system. Elijah, in 2017, Her Majesty, the Queen Elizabeth II, awarded you with, in terms of the Young Queen's Award program, with award for your contribution towards elevating poverty, reducing hunger, and creating very powerful redistributing system in Africa. Could you please tell us how you come there in terms of how your PAIS started and what were the key drivers, the key triggers of such amazing achievements and impacts?
Thank you. I want to use this to say thank you for the opportunity once again. And so as a young man, I started out as a chef, a professional chef in the hospitality sector. My passion for cooking actually was as a result of moments that I spent with my mom in the kitchen. I was the only boy, so I was close to my mom, and most often than not, it was in the kitchen that I get to interact with my mom so much. So I picked up that passion from there. When I became a chef, as a young chef, I was fortunate to work in one of the big hotels we have in Accra. And during the period of my working life in that hotel, I came into contact with a mentally challenged man who picked leftover foods from the trash bin where we work. Whenever we throw away all the leftover foods from our trash bin, this mentally challenged man comes picking this food, puts them into small bags, and then sharing it to other mentally challenged people on the streets of Accra. One day I had to ask him why he does that. And he told me, if he doesn't do it, who will? And for me, that was the inspiration for starting an organization. First, it wasn't even, I didn't think of it as an organization. I thought from the inspiration of the actions of a mentally challenged man, I could easily be, instead of throwing away leftover foods from my kitchen, I could just connect it to orphanages, community organizations that don't have. And so I started it. But as it went along, the interest became more and more. I saw that more food was going waste along the food supply chain. And then on the media or on the other side, you hear people talking about the fact that we don't have enough food. We have hungry people in Ghana, in Africa. So I thought, well, we could solve this problem by easily connecting the excess food within the supply chain to those who don't have. As gradually we went along, then it became an organization, which today is known as Food for All Africa. We are operating West Africa's first and largest food bank. We work with partners and then partners or stakeholders within the food supply chain to connect excess food to those who don't have in society.
It's just incredible how one meeting with that mentally challenged boy can change the mindset in terms of providing new vision. And this vision you then redistributed to the whole world, the whole planet. I know that you've been a chef in many restaurants all over the world, not the least Canada and other countries.
Yes. So I've had the opportunity through my passion for cooking to actually work with different organizations. But above all this, I feel more happier when I cook for the vulnerable, people who cannot pay me. Because for those who don't have purchasing power for food, when you give them food, it's not just food you've given them. You've shown them love. You've given them hope. You've given them that inspiration to know that there will be a better tomorrow. And so for me, I find more joy, more fulfillment in what we do currently at Food for All Africa. And it is my vision that by the year 2030, Food for All Africa will help in accelerating Africa's effort towards achieving Sustainable Development Goal 2, which talks about zero hunger.
I'm reminded of the proverb, which is quite popular in my country: we are what we eat. And in fact, good and healthy food for children is not just about the number of proteins, its content. It's also about the energy which can create the society of very powerful, intelligent people and very empowered in all fields, as food gives energy for achievements, for scientific researches, and so on. And you mentioned the problem of food waste. The statistics and numbers are just shocking. We have from 33% up to 50% of food which is produced. At the same time, it's never eaten. And the overall cost of this food reaches about $1 trillion, which is too much. You've created this redistribution system. Could you please tell us how it works? What is the mechanism, probably how it can be implemented in other communities?
Thank you. So Food for All Africa works by leveraging on, first and foremost, technology. We have a mobile platform where we have created a medium for vulnerable beneficiary charities. We're talking about charities like orphanages, community schools, community groups. And then on that same platform, we as well have businesses, organizations that have work with food, farmers groups that work with food. So on the platform, we have created that medium for those who have an access to easily connect to those who don't have. Then as well, because technology is limited to a large extent in some areas of our communities, what we have done is we have extended it by operating a model that works with beneficiary charities that are not connected to technology in any way. So we, first and foremost, for instance, if a business has food products that is highly consumable, is highly nutritious, yet does not have market for it, once he wouldn't want to, because when you keep food in a warehouse and you are not selling that food, it's not just, you are causing loss, because as a company, you have to look at the space the products are taking, you have to look at the electricity, you have to look at the labor. All this goes into keeping food that you know you're not being able to use it. So we created a platform where these people, those who have food that they are not able to use it, can easily connect to those who are in need of it and then give it out to them freely. We also operate a school feeding program. We call it the Lunchbox School Feeding Initiative. So there are schools, very deprived schools, that are not under any government school feeding program in Ghana. What we've done is we connect about 60% of the food that we recover to these schools. We help the schools by working with their school parent-teacher association to set up kitchens in the school. We provide them with training on food handling, food safety, recipe creation using what we recover, as well as locally available food ingredients to create a menu for the school. And then we provide them with ingredients for about 1 year. For within that 1 year, we provide the ingredients on a monthly basis. They use this ingredient in addition to locally sourced ingredients to provide food for the school children, 1 hot meal per day for the school children. And so that's actually how our school feeding model as well works. Then as well, we have a model where we facilitate food product acquisition for.
This is probably the value of sharing economy, how connecting others, we can work more efficiently and reach final outcomes. You've mentioned that you are actively working on providing education, not only for people, for children, but also for some people involved in cooking foods, the future chefs. How do you think we can intensify this connection between education and its impacts on other goals, not the least zero poverty, alleviating hunger, and so on?
I always like this Chinese proverb that says, give a food to a man for once and you have fed him a day. Teach a man how to feed himself and you have fed him his whole lifetime. Why do I like this proverb? When you look at food, food in itself is a fuel of life. It's a basic need of life. Every human being, no matter your race, no matter your color, no matter your background, no matter where you are from, you eat food to survive. That in itself puts on the scope the commonality of food, food being for each and every human being everywhere in the world. So when you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, I've always said that the zero hunger, which dwells so much on food, availability of food, irrespective of who, what, where, is very important. So if once you're able to ensure that we overcome hunger in all its forms, it will contribute to the many other goals. Take, for instance, in Food for All Africa, we provide food for school children, basically because we want to make sure that when they go to school, they can have a healthy diet, which will give them the concentration to stay in school, learn, and then be empowered for the future. We as well work on providing vocational training for vulnerable youths. What we realize is the food chain, the food supply chain, has so many opportunities that once you leverage on creating opportunity channels for vulnerable people, along the food supply chain, they will be easily encouraged, they will be easily inspired to provide for themselves for the rest of their lives. So if we want to overcome hunger, it's not just giving the food to our beneficiaries, those who need it, but as well looking at their situation, working with them to create opportunities along the food supply chain for them to also tap into raising revenue for themselves and as well contributing to towards reducing zero hunger. And that's why we provide vocational training. We have partner organizations that we recommend some beneficiaries to be
also cooked for the Queen, but what was the best? What do you like to cook the most?
Well, we have a local recipe made from rice and beans. We call it wache. It's my favorite meal. I love it. Why? Because it also, beans is protein and then rice. So just by cooking wache, which is beans and rice, you've created a balanced meal. And it's a meal that I've eaten from when I was a child. Anywhere I go, I always look out for that. And that's my most favorite dish.
Wonderful. I hope to cook it one day. Wachi. I like rice and I like beans and also will mix. Thank you so much for such an amazing conversation. And the last but not the least, what would be a message to the world leaders as well as people watching us on how to reduce hunger, to inspire them to take the guts and to lead new programs and new approaches?
COVID-19 pandemic has for once proven to the world that achieving the sustainable development goals, especially zero hunger, demands a collective shared responsibility. Until we work together as a one common force towards ensuring zero hunger globally, it will be to the detriment of future generations. Because if we care so much about the future, we must rise up and work together to ensure that no country in this world, in the 21st century, should ever be food insecure when other countries are food sufficient to the extent of obesity and other overnutritional health problems prevailing. When we do that, we are being able to encourage the future generations to know that as a world, one world, we stand for zero hunger. And that I believe that we must work together towards. We have to move away from always talking about it and work towards it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for such a message, and I hope it will be heard